Good morning, students. In the last lecture, we had dealt with a short story written by Catherine Mansfield, and the title of that story is Miss Brill. We had simply seen the introduction of that story in the last lecture. Now, let's once again recapitulate some of the major content from the introduction once again. So Miss Brill is a short story. Miss Brill, written by Catherine Mansfield, and the period of Mansfield is 1888 to 1923. Some of the major content from the introduction are, it was first published, this story was first published in Athenaeum on 26th November 1920 and later on reprinted in the Garden Party and Other Stories. So in the first opening paragraph of Miss Brill, Catherine Mansfield has described the lovely and pleasant atmosphere of the surrounding. This is the opening, what exactly Catherine Mansfield has done. So Miss Brill is an English teacher. This is most important, that Miss Brill is an English teacher. By profession, she is a teacher. So Miss Brill is an English teacher living near the public garden in a French town. She has an old fur. Fur, let's write down the meaning of this word. Word's meaning. Fur means F-U-R. Fur means a piece of clothing, especially a jacket or a coat, made of real or artificial hairy skin of some animals. So this is the meaning of this word fur. So she has an old fur with her, and it is been kept in a wooden box. That wooden box is related with the life of that old lady, Miss Brill. I will explain it later on. Now the next point is that fur, that is the jacket or coat, is as old as Miss Brill. Miss Brill and the fur are parallel to each other, and they represent each one's condition in the life. That fur is old and the Miss Brill is also old. So both of these things, I am to say the Miss Brill and the old fur represent each other. She calls it a little rug. Write down this word, little rug. R-G-U-E. She used this word for that fur. So she calls it a little rug. Now write down the meaning of this word. A person who behaves badly. It is the meaning of this word rug. A person who behaves badly but in a harmless way, because it pinches. That rug, I mean to say that rug, the word which has been used by Miss Brill for that fur pinches her and troubles her after wearing it. That is why she has used a little rug for that fur. Therefore, life became quite troublesome and harsh to Miss Brill like that little rug because of an old ageness. Age oldness. So even though she is very optimistic, this thing is more important in case of the Miss Brill. What type of nature she has? She is very optimistic lady. Optimistic. She has a very positive look towards the life. She has a great positivity towards everything in the life. So it is her every Sunday. What does she do? Every Sunday she has maintained a one routine. What is that routine? To go to the park and enjoys the music and observes the people around her while sitting in her special seat on the bench. Miss Brill feels disappointed when the old people, those who are coming regularly just like Miss Brill in that same garden, she observes them and she feels disappointed when such old people like her do not speak to each other and they just sit like a statue in the garden. So she thinks that everyone must enjoy the single moment of the life. So what does it express? It expresses the positivity of Miss Brill, and she has a great positivity towards the life. So that is why Miss Brill always looks forward to have conversation with anyone else, even if he or she may be unknown to her. So Catherine Mansfield has given a variety of examples of people in that short story Miss Brill. So example like Englishman and his wife. The first example, Englishman and his wife. This is the first example given by Catherine Mansfield in this short story Miss Brill. So example like an Englishman and his wife and a discussion between them on a trivial issue like wearing a spectacle by his wife. So like the old people and married couples, Catherine Mansfield has also described small children, their caretaking mothers, like mother hens. She has used the word mother hens for the caring mothers. What do? They rescue their children from some of the difficulties. They are scolding them continuously and rescuing them continuously and running behind their children in the garden. So some people usually sit on the benches and green chairs. Some of the benches have been put there in the garden along with the green chairs. Are nearly always the same. So most of the people continuously every Sunday coming to the garden and they are occupying every time the same kind of positions and they are sitting on the same seat, either on the bench or in the green chairs. So they are all odd people, silent people, and as well as old people like Miss Brill. So it seems that they have come from dark little rooms and cupboards. These two words are more important. Dark little rooms and cupboards. They are from dark little rooms as well as cupboards. These are the symbolical words which has been used by Catherine Mansfield to explain the condition of such people, those who are old, those who are silent and odd. So here they are old, odd and silent. So it means they are from such place where nobody is taking care of them. So it means the condition of all old people in the world is same. So she observes, Miss Brill observes two beautiful girls and their soldier lovers, peasant woman and a lady with a bunch of violets, and a pale nun in the garden. So she is observing everyone along with the children, old people, lovers, women, peasants, everyone. So later on, Miss Brill observes the couple. Ermine talk. This word is most important. Ermine talk. So let's write down the spelling of this word. Ermine. E-R-M-I-N-E. First of all, write down the meaning of this word ermine. So ermine is the white winter fur. It is the white winter fur of the start, used specially to decorate the formal clothes of judges and the kings. So this is the meaning of ermine. And now the meaning of talk. T-O-Q-U-E. This is the spelling of this word talk. So ermine talk is a combined word. But for better understanding, I have splitted this word into two parts, ermine and talk. Now write down the meaning of this word talk. So talk is a close-fitting hat. It is a close-fitting hat made of wool for women. So ermine talk. So combined meaning of ermine talk is a jacket of fur and a close hat. It means it is representing a women character. And a gentleman in a grey. Grey means old person. But the old lady who is in ermine talk looks ahead for what? For better choice for her partner, and she leaves the gentleman. This is the reality of the life. And most of the time it happens with the people when they do not find a suitable kind of partner. They look forward to get the new partner, to new company. So she imagines their romance and feeling it at such an old age. What is Miss Brill is doing? She is imagining herself at the places of all these characters, all these people, and she is enjoying their talks, their romance and everything, whatever they are doing. So it shows sometimes she considers herself at the place of the people and enjoys the moments through the imagination. This word is important. What she is doing? She is using her imagination all time. She is using her imagination to understand either the personality or to be there on their places to enjoy their moments of the life. So Miss Brill lives in such kind of fantasy of the life which is completely aloof, away and quite distant than the reality. So Miss Brill believes the garden is just like the stage, and they are not only the audience. It means along with her, all the people, those who are regularly coming to the garden, they are not the audience at all. They are all actors, and she is playing the suitable role which has been assigned to her to play on that stage. So accordingly they are acting as per the rules which are assigned to them to play on the stage. So this is one once again some kind of fantasy she is living in. So she thinks that her every Sunday role, which has been already assigned to her to play on that stage of garden, that every Sunday role is fixed. It is not changing, it is fixed. And somebody will definitely remember her role. What is she expecting from the other people? Those who are observing him, those who are looking at her every time on every Sunday, every Sunday in the garden, she expects that such people will remember her role if she failed to come to the garden next Sunday. And Miss Brill considers herself as an actress while reading the newspaper for an old man. So this is one of the new activity she is performing while reading a newspaper for an old man. So at the time she thinks that she is as good as an actress. And gently she says, there is a statement I have quoted over here. She says, yes, I have been an actress for a long time. So it shows, this statement shows that she has a sensitive nature. She has a sensitive nature. She is sensitive. Along with the sensitive nature, she has a very kind feeling for all the people, those who are coming into the same garden every Sunday. She imagines one more picture. As I told you, she always using her imagination power. So she imagines one more picture that everyone, along with young and old people, these people have joined together and start singing in the garden. They have started singing in the garden and they have come all together, and she is enjoying the music, enjoying the songs and tunes of the band all together. So in the last section, this is the climax of the story. In the last section of the story of Miss Brill, a young couple, lovers, a young couple seat nearby her on the same bench where she was sitting. She is sitting. She calls them as hero and heroine as per her imagination. She calls them a hero and heroine and likes to have them nearby her because she always want to have a company of such people for enjoying their dialogues, for enjoying their emotions, for enjoying their presence around her. So to purpose to enjoy their dialogue and feelings as well as romance. But actually, Miss Brill wanted to overcome. It is her loneliness which compels her every time that she must not consider herself all alone in the world. So actually, what is happening? Miss Brill wanted to overcome her loneliness and tedious kind of a single life in the world. But the young lovers do not care for her feelings and emotions. They pass on very rude remarks, sarcastic remark for her look and the old age, of course. And it is true, it is fact that such peoples makes the remark. These people make the remarks just by looking at the person. They look at the physique of that person, they look at the clothing of that person, costumes of that person, age of that person, and pass the remarks. And the same thing is happened with the old lady, the English teacher, Miss Brill. So this couple makes some kind of sarcastic remarks about her costumes and the old age. So this incident disappoints her a lot and make her realize that reality in the life is very cruel than the fantasy. This is the climax of the story. She came to know that the reality of the life is really very cruel. It is really very harsh. It is really unbearable than the fantasy. In fantasy you can imagine anything else. In fantasy you can have anyone else along with you. In fantasy you can imagine anything else about anyone else. So on a typical Sunday, usually Miss Brill would stop by a bakery. But on this particular day, due to that sarcastic remarks, due to that harsh words, due to that rude kind of statements made by the lovers, couples, those who were sitting along with her on the same bench, she would stop by the bakery, but on this particular day she goes straight home to a dark room. Once again back to her dark room. So as she returns her fur, which she has taken out, when she started to walk towards the garden, in the very first opening paragraph of this short story written by Catherine Mansfield, she put it into the box, and she feels that something is crying there in that dark place, in that dark room. So what I mean to say, let's try to focus on some of the major themes of this short story. And the themes are like these. The first is loneliness. Whose loneliness? The loneliness of an English teacher. The loneliness of that old lady, Miss Brill. Illusion versus reality. Illusion means the imagination done by that old lady versus the reality of the life. The reality of whom? The reality of that lovers. The reality of that of such remarks which has been made by those lovers about the fur and the old age of this lady, Miss Brill. Then third theme is there. There is the youth and age. It is true fact that youth do not care for the age-old people. This is fact. And most of the time it happens around us. The next kind of theme has been studied by Catherine Mansfield through this story, that is the rejection. That lady has been rejected by most of the people, even though who recognize her, who know her, and who are always watching that lady in the same garden. But that lady has been rejected by such people, known people. Next theme is there, that is the isolation. As I told you, that dark rooms, cupboards, these are the symbolical words which has been used by Catherine Mansfield to represent the isolation. Then of course, the last theme is there, that is the alienation. She is alienated. She feels that she is just like an alien character, unknown character to rest of the peoples of the world because of her old age. Now let's think about the symbolism. Here, three symbols have been used by Catherine Mansfield to understand the better concept and the story of this short story of this old lady, Miss Brill. The first symbol is fur. The first life is parallel, as I explained. The first life parallels Miss Brill's life. So it is removed from its small dark residence. That is explained by Catherine Mansfield in the form of wooden box, so which is small and dark residence, represented as a dark residence, and brought into the open only to be returned to its lonely box at the story's close. So Miss Brill refers to the fur as rug, as I already explained the meaning of this word rug. So her life is also pinching her every time. The reality of the life always troubling her, and the people to whom she considers as the co-actors, they are also troubling her. So that rug is representing them, that rug is representing every such situation which is causing trouble to this old lady. So the adventurer, though her own life is idle and lonely. Next symbolism is there, ermine talk, which I have already explained to you, the meaning of ermine as well as the meaning of talk. So the once fine first state of decay parallels the grayness. It is the decaying position, getting older, getting such kind of, the becoming such kind of person who is no more useful to the people or to the society. So parallel the grayness of those sitting in the park on the benches, and it turns out that of the Miss Brill herself. Now the last symbolism is there, which has been used by Catherine Mansfield to explain the enjoy, to explain the happiness, to have the pleasure moments in the life. And she has used a word here, that is the orchestra. So Miss Brill's emotions are reflected and echoed by the orchestra's performance. So these are some of the things which I think more important while reading and understanding the short story written by Catherine Mansfield. Thank you so much.